For me, there's a simple rule in politics. Never, ever be surprised by what happens in politics.
The face of truth is open. The eyes of truth are bright. The lips of truth are ever closed. The head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward. The gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt. Truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching. The voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple. All you sow, you reap. The soul of truth is flaming. The heart of truth is warm. The mind of truth is clear and firm through rain and storm. Facts are only its shadow. Truth stands above all sin. Great be the battle of life. Truth in the end shall win. The image of truth is the cross. Wisdom's message is its rod. The sign of truth is Christ, and the soul of truth is God. Life of truth is eternal. Immortal is its past. Power of truth shall endure. Truth shall hold to the last.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe. Our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living room. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crying in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
Real estate acquisitions by a public official is being discussed by sections of the public. We'll get some reaction, and we'll discuss that issue during the course of our broadcast for today. Welcome to another edition of the world's most monitored talk show, and that is NewsSpin on Power 97.9 FM. The broadcast is also on the NewsSpin Facebook page as well as the NewsSpin YouTube channel. And please click on the subscribe button. And we'll have our discussion when you call at 452-2979, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026. And Amanda will be going through some of your comments in the chat room. And I have some of your WhatsApp messages to go through from yesterday. Many of you would have sent those messages, and unfortunately, we had so many issues to focus on during the course of our program yesterday. We could not do so. So we'll be having a fantastic day today. Somebody told me earlier today, and I just got the tail end of a particular individual's contribution, and apparently that individual was criticizing or even attacking me on another talk show earlier on. So, speaking behind my back. If you have anything to say, you can call me during the course of our program today and say directly to me, and maybe we could have a sensible discussion. But it amounts to an act of cowardice, sir, when you're speaking behind my back. When you have a talk show, and you can always call to challenge me on whatever problem that you have with regard probably to how I'm managing this particular program. So let's focus on more important issues. So this has been in the news over the last few weeks. And we have been seeing documents on social media. And the whole thing has been politicized. Now, in St. Lucia, if you are a private citizen and you acquire wealth of a certain magnitude where it would catch the attention of the St. Lucian public. If you're driving a particular vehicle and people know that they suspect or they believe that the job that you have, you probably have not raised or saved sufficient funds to drive that kind of vehicle, Porsche vehicle, or what seems to be an expensive home, or you're always traveling, you're always on vacation, etc. And that's a reality in our country. And people would easily conclude, if you're a woman, either you're having extramarital affairs, you have extra boyfriends, and you have other incomes, or maybe, if you're mischievous enough, people say that you're a drug mule. If you're a man, people would easily assume that you are selling drugs. If you are a public official, easily people conclude that somehow you engage in some kind of illegal acts of corruption. You have some source of revenue that is illegal, and to the extent that maybe you're using your position to acquire such wealth. And so many people have been speaking about the island's youth development minister. That's Mr. Kenson Casimir, who is also the MP for Grosley. Now, we don't have the evidence to prove anything. And it's on that basis you can condemn people. It is on that basis that you can say that they are corrupt. So outside of that, people are just making their assumptions. But thank God for the decision that was taken by a previous St. Lucia Labour Party administration to enact the Integrity in Public Life Act. And that act came into being, or that law came into being, in 1998. And I think it was amended in 2022. And it calls for the declaration of your assets and liabilities and income. And there's stated in that act certain provisions. And if you do not comply, if you do not even declare your assets, certain actions can be taken against you. You could be sent to prison on summary conviction for 5 years. You could be fined some $50,000 in certain instances, $5,000, if it is something that is, if the infraction is deemed to be minor. And we can consider ourselves in this jurisdiction fortunate. And even on this particular matter, the Dr. Kenny Anthony administration of 1998 should certainly be commended for taking that bold step. A bold step because in St. Lucia, we have been satisfied with just casting aspersion. Oh, this guy is corrupt. This politician, he came into the industry or into the profession. He came into office with just a home, ordinary home to his name and a vehicle. And now, look at the vehicle as he's driving. Rolls Royce. And he has acquired land elsewhere. Endless parcels of land. He has a home in the north of the island and Cape Estate, etc., etc. But now that you have the Integrity in Public Life Act, and to be policed by an integrity commission, and people can provide evidence to that body, one would have assumed that instead of casting aspersions, would readily turn to the Integrity Commission to perform the duties for which it was formed. And for the Integrity in Public Life Act to do exactly what it was set up to do. But we know in St. Lucia, such institutions such bodies exist only in name. And the Integrity Commission, for example, and I think even Dr. Kenny Anthony at some point in time made the admission that the body did not have sufficient teeth. So it could not bite. And it existed only in name. I don't think it was being provided with the requisite resources so that it could have carried out its mission, what was expected of it, in an effective manner. So it existed. And why I said earlier on that the Dr. Kenny Anthony administration should have been commended is because even now, a country that's considered to be more progressive than ours, Barbados, is discussing the need to have such legislation and such a body. But who knows? If the law is enacted in Barbados, if you have an integrity commission, it will be more effective. So you had one Pastor Griffith heading the Integrity Commission up until September of 2021. He resigned in September of 2021. After that, you had another Integrity Commission being set up, and it was headed by one Mr. Peter Favrier. Now, the tenure of the Integrity Commission is 3 years. The life of the last Integrity Commission ended in March of 2024. Almost a year later, the government of the Senusha Labour Party and Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre, that prides itself on fighting corruption, on appointing a special prosecutor. I don't know what are the inhibiting factors. I don't know why a new commission has not been set up. But between March of last year and as we speak, the 29th of January 2025, we do not have an integrity commission that's consisting of a chairperson and members to police that Integrity in Public Life Act. And Peter Azi Alexander, this is not fake news. It's the truth. It's real. What would prevent any administration from ensuring that they do something that is very important, very critical? Because every other day, people, public officials, and when we say public officials, we believe it's only politicians and minister of this and minister of that, and parliamentary secretary, etc., who are being accused of acts of corruption. People who are heading statutory corporations, permanent secretaries, those people also come under scrutiny. But I imagine that politicians are an easy target because they are the ones who are accusing each other of being corrupt. Never mind when a politician is in office, he is being attacked left, right, and center, but those salvos invariably are being fired at him by his political opponents. And the favor is normally being returned. So you return fire. So it's being suggested that a little over 3 years into office, the sports minister, Kenson Casimir, has made real estate acquisitions of, in the eyes of some people, not mine, in the eyes of some people, of astounding proportions, and questions are being asked. I would hate to believe that people are leveling allegations. People ought to ask questions. And in a thriving democracy, if you are responsible, if you've already put in place the various checks and balances, then your Integrity Commission would be forced to intervene, to act, ask for the evidence, etc., etc. Let us listen to Mr. Kenson Casimir addressing that issue on Monday of this week during the pre-cabinet press briefing.
In my position, at my age, I, as a St. Lucian, I feel that is within my purview, that if I have a particular amount of savings or a particular amount of connection with banking institutions, I think it's within my right for all of us young people, whether you're a politician or whether you're not a politician, whether you're a banker, whether you're a physician, a doctor, a lawyer, I think that every single one of us here can go to a banking institution and get a loan. The bank will decide whether or not you qualify for a loan. So I will apologize when I make a mistake, and I've shown that before. But in me going to a bank, applying for a loan and being granted a loan, for UWP to purchase a piece of St. Lucia, for UWP to take that document and to post it on social media as if something untoward is happening, I think it's disgraceful. And it's an element that can discourage young people from getting involved in politics. I refuse to believe that if I spend the next 20 years of my life providing service to St. Lucia, that disqualifies me from going to a lending institution and borrowing money to purchase a piece of property. And I want to say to all young men and women out there that want to get involved in this job and provide a level of service to your country, do not let irresponsible, desperate opposition individuals discourage you from doing that by ensuring that they attack you personally and ensuring that they just do all sorts of unsavory things to discourage you. I am not discouraged, forward ever, backward never, with the development of youth and sports in St. Lucia.
Do you plan, this is a very serious thing, because this is private information that you need to pass. Do you plan to sue or take this to court? Because,
I have explored all my options, and I continue to explore all my options in terms of how I deal with this going forward, because my personal information has been published in the public sphere. And I think genuinely what I have going for me is my connection with my community, my constituency, and individuals who know me, who have said to me and comforted me when I go on the ground that this is just unsavory and this is desperate. And for me, my responsibility is my constituency and young people. I will, for sure, explore all my options. But there's just so much work to be done in this country, so much work in this constituency of mine, that I have looked at what has happened. I have scoured through social media. 9 out of 10 of the people that are commenting, they would use a pseudonym. They won't even use their own profile. That's testament to the fact that they are cowardly, and they know for a fact that there is nothing wrong with a young man acquiring a loan to purchase a piece of property. All the other innuendos and suspicions and all those things that they have is just that. And that is what they would bank on, people's ignorance, to discourage other young people from saying, boy, you see how messy this thing is? But, as I said, I stand true to who I am, who I was raised to be, and the representation that I'm currently providing to the people of Grosley.
The Island's Youth and Sports Minister and MP for Grosley, Mr. Kenson Casimir. How Mr. Casimir can deal with that issue unemotionally is to make the necessary declarations, if he has not done so, to the Integrity Commission. And case closed. You don't owe the St. Lucian public or your political opponents realistically any kind of explanation, especially the opposition. But we have an Integrity in Public Life Act. Let's go according to the provisions, what is required so that it could have full transparency. There's been too many accusations of persons committing corruption in St. Lucia, in particular politicians in our country over several years now, and those have not been adequately addressed. Not only through press conferences and statements, but provide the evidence to the Integrity Commission, and that kind of information should be shared with the rest of the St. Lucian public. Let us listen to Leonard Spider-Motu speaking on that issue as well yesterday during a press conference of the opposition UWP.
I despise the hypocrisy that I see coming from some people in the politics. And Kenson Kazimi in particular, you would recall in the last general election on his platform, okay, Azi and Shazi stood on his platform in his presence and called me a kidnapper. He endorsed the statement by making reference to me in the same light, in the same vein. Okay? He is now complaining about statements that were made about him. Well, let me just say this. Kenson Kazimi, you are a public figure. And if the public asks questions, expressing concerns about some of their suspicions, it is your responsibility as a public figure to come out and clarify. There is an integrity commission. I'm hoping that when the public raises concerns about the assets and wealth of individuals that raises suspicion, that some investigation is carried out. I would like to also indicate to the prosecutor, the public prosecutor, that that is a matter worth investigating. I say to Kenson Kazimi, if I were you, rather than cry foul, I would come out and indicate to the public, as they have a right to know since you're a public figure, exactly what is the source of my wealth and how I came about owning and having some of what I have. I am no longer in active politics. Having been in active politics, if anyone wishes to question anything that I have, anything that I own, I will make it public. I will disclose to the public, as they have a right to know, exactly how and where I got what I have from. I suggest to Kenson Kazimi that he do the same. Because if there seems to be some mystery to the people, they have a right to ask for clarification, him being a public figure.
Former Grozile MP and PRO of the opposition, UWP, Mr. Leonard Spider-Motu, speaking yesterday during a press conference of the opposition, UWP. Let me hear from you right now at 452-2979, 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026, 716-2026. Let me say good afternoon to you. Amanda, I don't know if it's too early to check in as to what is happening in the chat room.
It's not, Tim. Good afternoon, Tim. Good afternoon, News Spinners. Someone says the Youth Development Minister is developing himself. Another comment, the Integrity Public Commission has no teeth, just using dentures to appear as teeth. Another comment, they had so much to say about Dr. Gill. Richard Frederick was even showing documents of a loan on his show, whereas it was not Richard Frederick's business or anybody's, but he acquired it and was talking about it on his show. Hope he talks about his bank account.
We have a call, our first call online via WhatsApp. Good afternoon, this is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Boy, Tim, you see, I will go again. Let me begin by saying nothing I'm about to say there applies to the minister. I don't know the minister's financings. I don't even know about the acquisitions he supposedly had. But I want to comment on the statements he made, on the statements you made, and on the facts as they really are. In 2011, Kenny Anthony, I want to underscore that, had good cause to say that the people of this country, especially at election time, have a right to ask all kinds of questions of candidates. Even after courts have ruled on those on issues, they still retain the right to have particular questions that are bothering them, and so they can ask those questions of the candidate. He made the point, too, that, people who offer themselves a public office, they have to come clean as to their situation. They have to come clean. And the government itself knows that you can't leave it to those people, to those officials to be their own judge, jury, and executioner. And that is why they pretend to have in place an Integrity Act, make a lot of noise about that, and everything to do with integrity. And you and I and everybody else knows none of these things is but a sham. It's just a sham. Nobody gets charged, no investigation. And we've had so many of those, not just now. This minister is just the latest. We've had so many reasons to question the integrity of government officials. And go back to Bloom Cooper again. You remember it had to do with hospital domain and lands and so on and so on.
Yeah.
You remember that?
The UN fund scandal. That's the UN fund scandal, right?
Well, there was the UN fund scandal, but there was another one as well.
Yes.
And I want to remind you of what Bloom Cooper said. We can't have it both ways. Either we're going to have a country of crooks, where everybody's a crook, where nobody's accountable to anyone. So that goes for you, don't feel your party and everybody else. But really, Tim, this has nothing to do with what party you belong to. We're back again to a society that, according to Bloom Cooper, had a culture of studied indifference to corruption. And he says also, the suspicion in the public's mind that the machinery of government is not working and consequently that corruption is rife is almost as damaging to the public will as individual corruption itself. So that it is not the minister's reputation that is even the number one factor for consideration here. It is that our government is concerned about the people having trust in the people they elect. Public trust is the most important thing in governance, Tim. Public trust. If the public don't trust or the public don't care, they are complicit in the corruption. Now, you talked about the integrity. Every prime minister comes in there talks about giving new teeth to the Integrity Act. Some pass an amendment. Some simply say they're going to give new teeth. And when you examine the teeth, they're super soft plastic. Nobody has ever been charged under the Integrity Act and brought to court and all that. No, that has never happened. We've had so many. The Grindberg case remains still a case that's uninvestigated. The Rochamel case was investigated and certain conclusions arrived at. But for those conclusions to work, you have to have a special person who is independent to make them work. It's not the DPP's office and not the Prime Minister himself who receives the report. And most of those reports call on the DPP to investigate, to read the report properly and see where there's room for. That has never happened. We just accept those things, and it has become a culture. If there are, and I am not, again, I do not favor this idea of getting people's private documents, using your office to get private documents and put them. I mean, as a journalist, I'm happy to get information that should have been that should be given openly at him half the time.
Yeah.
Public accountability. Much of the information that you and I might use ought to be available to us with a simple question.
Mm-hmm.
It's only when they refuse and there's some kookamakakri that some conscientious person, maybe a party opposition person, whatever it is, who cares? And it is for the journalist to make use of the information he has in a proper way, so you don't expose the whistleblower. In some countries, whistleblowers are protected by law. Kenny Anthony considered one time passing a law against whistleblowers. I'm not sure what that situation is now. Remember when Arthur Charles was the national whistleblower?
Yes, I remember that time.
I would like him to call now when to hear from him on whistleblowing, etc. But the situation we have now, Tim, instead of threatening people with my options, and by the way, I think that was instigated by a question.
Yes.
A journalist actually asked, I didn't hear it properly, did the journalist actually ask the minister if he planned to take legal action?
What is his next course of action?
What is the next course of action? Yeah. Okay. And he chose to talk about his options. But the first option he has is to prove what is out there lies.
Absolutely.
And that's
because Rick, what happens is that whenever such allegations are made, whether it's made by the opposition or members of the public, invariably those people who are at the center of whatever controversy, such as alleged acts of corruption, etc., they politicize the issue by making reference to the opposition or some politician and making an accusation against them. Now, that is the right of any politician to do that. But you, who is on the receiving end, it's your responsibility to ignore the politician and clear the air so that the wider St. Lucian public in this case can actually know exactly what is the nature of those acquisitions that you made. That is what is required, not to focus on the opposition or whether it's UWP or SLP.
I was very, very pleased, Tim, if you allow me a small digression. I was very, very pleased because normally my birthday comes around and there are hundreds of people who wish me happy birthday, usually fans from overseas over the years. But I was very, very pleased this time around. I took particular interest in it this time around. The number of St. Lucians, home and abroad, who were congratulating me and hoping that I stick around a little longer. And it's the reason that I'm so pleased with Tim. That telling me about the work I have done, some of it I sacrificed myself, although I didn't see the sacrifice. The things I talk about, Tim, I mostly have experienced them, You know how many times I've been brought before the courts by government politicians? Mm-hmm. I was brought before the courts when a gentleman whom, by public view, nobody would have considered him close to being a millionaire. Nothing about him. Now we're talking about what the public is seeing. And I wrote an article to addressing this whole public view of this gentleman who nobody would have associated wealth with him, which didn't mean he didn't have, but nobody would have associated the average person, the average citizen. And then to see a few months later how much he had and et cetera, et cetera. And I wrote about that and referred to the Integrity Commission. Well, that was a very famous case, and it was appealed and all kinds of stuff. The people can go look it up and what was said by the judge and the various things. But I want to point that I'm speaking from experience, because all you have to do, I was actually asked, did I go check the registry to see how much money this guy may have, etc. That, as opposed to the elected individual, the onus being on him to account. Yeah. This is not a matter of private business. If the public has doubt about things that happen regarding you and governance, they have a right to say so and be free to say so without calling you a crook. People can't call you a crook, but they can question things that bother them. And it is your duty to put the public mind at rest. That's why we have the Integrity Commission, and we're supposed to have reports, and we have all the banks. You cannot bring any amount of money to the bank and bank will take it. They need to know where the money is coming from.
Even setting up an account at the bank. That's an Herculean task these days.
That's
many
what I'm
questions.
talking about.
Hours upon
Exactly.
hours just to open a bank account.
To set up an account alone, but we have an aversion, especially when we have the trappings of power around us, to tell people who question their. And I want to go back to Kenny again. Kenny said that the public has a right to ask questions of the most private kind of candidates offering themselves for office. If you don't want to do that, don't get into politics. And Tim, what is so disastrous about if I have to say I'm buying a piece of real estate, and it gets out, something crap comes out? What is so disastrous to me saying, look, I put so much money from my account, so and so, which I saved up for, and the bank gave me the loan and the details. What is so embarrassing about the details of your acquiring property, Tim?
As a public official.
What is so embarrassing? Huh?
Nothing embarrassing about this.
Absolutely nothing. So when you make a deal, it's your private business. And I want to use Casimir's words, but I have no reason to I say that genuinely, to be accusing him of nothing. The points are raised, and I want to deal with it. When you start talking about young people in St. Lucia cannot even dream of the situation, unfortunately, that Casimir finds himself in. So when you, instead of accounting to the people, you start leaning on young people and saying, well, a young person can't do this, there are a lot of young people who can't do this, can't do that. And already, you know the banks are going to be more generous to people in office than they would to the average young guy. You know that.
That's true.
Especially if they believe the guy is going to be in office for whatever time. Put it another way. A guy who's in office has a far better chance of getting a loan than a guy who's just started work, maybe with the youth. What do you call it?
The youth economy. Youth economy.
Yeah. You agree with that?
Yes.
So I am not casting any aspersions. I'm saying don't make things worse. That instead of accounting to the public, which you are supposed to do, and the public has a right to demand the most private questions, because that's what they're going to vote on. Reputation is even more important than the outcome of a case, Kim, because with good lawyers, you can get by everything else. But if you have a reputation and you want my vote, you want me to put you in charge of my destiny and my children's destiny, I have a right, as Dr. Anthony said, I have a right to ask you what would ordinarily be the most private questions. And you, besides, I should be able to find out from the Integrity Commission. You see, but again, the Integrity Commission is set up. It's almost impossible to find anything from them, even when they're functioning halfway. And if you had a real Integrity Commission, they could have issued a statement without giving any details of this situation and say, we are satisfied, everything is in order now.
That's what happens. So, that's what happens in the real world, Rick.
Yeah, you don't have to come out and say, well, Casimir worked for 6 months at DBS and he acquired $1 million in his savings, and then he put this and that. You don't have to go into those kind of details. The organization simply has to say, we are satisfied that everything is above board in the case of so and so and so and so. I remember the time of Gail.
Rigobert.
What's her name?
Rigobert.
I heard some pretty astounding stories again. And like this other one, she never came out, and neither did the Integrity Commission. And I can give you a whole list.
No, she came out. She issued a statement. She issued a statement on this. She spoke on it.
She issued a statement at the time?
Yes. She explained.
But the best statement for everybody would have been from the Integrity Commission.
Yes.
Like the government via the Integrity Commission clears the air. We have every right to be suspicious of all our officials because we have no way of making those guys pay for anything. They control the system. They are at the levers of power. They even affect the courts. And I've written about this a lot. The governments in these islands are too close to the judiciary. Too many people in the judiciary depend on the smile of 4 or 5 prime ministers. And if one prime minister tells the other 4 not to smile, they won't smile because they owe each other.
And to inject something there, I mean, appointments. One prime minister can determine whether you are appointed to a job or not, or you continue to be acting in a position, huh?
Tim, yes, you act forever. I can also tell you, I know, I'm going to call names, judges who on retirement could not get their gratuities from the different islands. I had to write about this as well, and I'm going to call my former friend on that, the speaker. He wrote quite a bit about that in the case of a particular judge and a particular prime minister, not from here. Because even those judges, when they retire, are at the mercy of politicians to delay their gratuities and all that kind of stuff, Tim. It's a horrible, horrible situation that must not be tolerated. It has been tolerated for far too long by the citizens of this country, red, yellow, and whatever. So let us not make this particular minister's case a unique one. His answers are lousy. The real answer should come from the Integrity Commission that would have done its work, and we would know exactly where to start. But, you know, 1 or 2 commissions, integrity commissions, have actually gazetted as required by law people who do not make the declaration. I heard Guy Joseph saying so yesterday.
Yes.
But I know for a fact, I've written articles about that. The DPP is supposed to step in after the Integrity Commission and listed people's names and whatnot. None of them has ever done that. Tim, this whole country makes you sick, you know. A whole bunch of things that look to be what they are not. Look to be what they are. Everything is plastic and everything is Hollywood. Everything is a pretense. Everything is an act working by the script. It's disgusting. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This is the world's most monitored talk show. We'll be hearing from you in just a moment with more of your calls, your WhatsApp messages, and of course, Amanda will be going through some of the comments in the chat room.
Get ready for the glitz and glamour of the Miss St. Lucia USA Independence Pageant. Join the Fabulous 5, Danielle Allen, Miss Castry South, Cheyenne Smith, Miss Mikud South, Tyler St. Rose, Miss Babodo, Ari Asa Liwa, Miss Castry Central, and Mikhail Williams, Miss Mikud North. Who will be crowned Miss St. Lucia USA Independence Pageant 2025 on Saturday, February 1st from 6 p.m. at the Medgar Evers College Founders Auditorium, 1650 Bedford Avenue, Brooklyn. Tickets $80 US, VIP $120 US, or call 631-275-0508. This event is sponsored by Power 97.9 FM, 4 Roots Entertainment, and the Consulate General of St. Lucia, New York. A magical evening awaits. Miss St. Lucia USA Independence Pageant 2025.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Lazarus's Funeral Home is here for you. Lazarus's Private Cemetery offers a peaceful resting place for your loved ones. With tranquil settings, visitation, and reflection, we believe in the compassionate care of all our departed loved ones. Lazarus's Private Cemetery, let us help you create a final resting place. Make it special. Make it Lazarus's Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Payment plans are available for Toombs. Call us in Vidbuta at 452-7491 or in New Dock Road, VA4, 454-6555.
Lucilex Customer Service Office in Castries is now opened for business, but we've moved. We're now located on Daisy Avenue in Sanssouci on the ground floor of the new Carillac building. We're open weekdays from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Check out our online options first. But if you do need to come in to see us, we'll be pleased to serve you with new connections, bill queries, payments, and other service requests. Lucilex Sanssouci office, ground floor of the Carillac building. New location, same great service.
You know that feeling when you have an uncontrollable desire for fried chicken? That's the KFC. A substance that stimulates your senses to identify the aroma of a secret recipe or an extra crispy crunch from any distance. It's invisible to the naked eye, but you can feel it traveling throughout your body, taking control, all so you can enjoy a juicy bite of KFC. Ignite your senses with KFC.
For it and you got it. A quicker way to pay your bills online. It's fast, secure, and easy to use. No registration, no additional fees. Flow is now offering FastPay, an online service that allows you to settle your bills in less than 2 minutes. Need a receipt? FastPay will send it to your email immediately. Use FastPay now for convenience, safety, and efficiency at discoverflow.co/fastpay. Flow is keeping you connected.
Ouais, monsieur. Pas dis-moi la KSP plein bon glow. Si t'es la pani pressure. Moi ni tongue, moi ni glow, mais money pressure. Ou savez ça moi besoin? A pomme. Ça c'est bêtise. Moi ka aller ko Europa. Yo ni toute pomme pour toute condition. Qui pour kay, qui pour business. Yo ni pli mer pour pomme cette ici. Yo ka ranger pomme aussi qui besoin service. Prendre pompe yo c'est Léo. Pompe ça c'est major. Ils bon tout bonnement. Tant si ten moins actuellement. Glo ka fonte. Europa ni pompe glo Léo entre pour les 9 juin et gris. Visitez Europa ambassade Gozile. Les mots au téléphone 452 0763.
Take control of your health at La Clinique de Corps Diagnostic Center of Excellence located in Cocoville, Rodney Bay, Groselet. We offer state-of-the-art diagnostic services including our advanced full-body MRI scans. Did you know cancers affect millions but are curable when detected early? Our full-body MRI is radiation-free, painless, and highly accurate. It detects cancer early, spots hidden illnesses, and uses advanced technology to ensure you get the best care possible. At La Clinique de Corps, we prioritize your health and peace of mind. Our highly skilled team provides personalized care in a comfortable and welcoming environment. Protect your health and secure a healthier tomorrow with our comprehensive diagnostic solutions. Book your full-body MRI today and take the first step towards a healthier future. Call us at 451-6559. Your health is our priority at La Clinique de Corps.
It's the Tile Thursday specials. The sale you've been waiting for is finally here, happening this Thursday at the Tile Gallery. Whether you're renovating your kitchen, bathroom, or updating your entire home, don't miss out on the chance to save big on high-quality tiles that will elevate any space. Mark your calendars for Tile Thursday specials, the last Thursday of every month. You can save up to 50% off on selected tiles. Located at M&C Home Depot in Sunville. Hurry in! These amazing deals are in-store only, and supplies are limited, so be sure to grab yours while you can. Remember, Tile Thursday only happens once a month, so don't miss out. Visit the Tile Gallery this Thursday. See in-store for details.
This is the most monitored talk show in the world. It's called NewsSpin. In just a moment, stand by. You might be hearing from a particular former government minister. All that and more between now and 2 o'clock this afternoon. Let me turn my attention to you, Amanda, and what is happening in the chat room.
Tim, someone says those guys know nothing about accountability and transparency when in government, but only when they are in opposition. A bunch of useless, self-centered politicians. Another comment reads, this political system is structured to enable corruption by the ministers. A comment reads, just laughable. Not because it's funny, but just unbelievable. These same guys campaign so heavy about being transparent, yet there are more cloak and dagger movements from them. Another comment, what is good for the goose is good for the gander. Now you have a problem with documents being exposed. Continue to keep quiet when it's done to others. Accusations were made against former UWP ministers when in government with no evidence. Documents were shown online without any verification. It's now being done to the sitting government, doesn't make it right, but this goes to show that an integrity commission is needed.
Thank you so much, Amanda, for that update. We'll have some more updates from you during the course of our program. I think we have a WhatsApp message, and it reads, the Minister of Youth and Sport and members of his party are within the right to be upset that information concerning property he owns and a personal relationship was posted on social media. However, there is a weekly Thursday night show hosted by a sitting minister which has been revealing personal information of both private citizens and public figures for many years now, and I don't see that same level of frustration being vented. And let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. Okay, somebody says there via WhatsApp, how much do ministers, parliamentary reps, prime ministers, and attorney generals make? Curious. Okay, we might be able to share that information with you during the course of our program. In the meantime, some more of your WhatsApp messages. Just bear with me while we try to access them. One reads, I might be sounding stupid, but to avoid that heavy traffic on the Sir Julian Highway is to install medium barriers on that road. We in right turns, no right turns. This is the problem. One roundabout at the Corinth Junction, one roundabout at the Windjammer Junction, and continued around at Raidry. Check, there is no traffic congestion at Shock. That Groseley Road is frustrating. Some more of your calls at 452-2979. That's 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages. And, of course, we're going through some of your comments in the chat room. We have a lot to discuss between now and 2 o'clock this afternoon. So please stay with the most monitored talk show in the world. Once again, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026. We have a call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon to you. You are on the air.
Yes, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon to you, caller.
Yes, Tim, this is Leonard Spider-Montut here.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
Yes, and I'm calling specifically to comment on the position with regard to the Minister of Youth and Sports.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I think Kenson's hypocrisy has to be exposed. And secondly, let me just remind Kenson that in the words of his Prime Minister, this is the year of accountability. So he should have no problem accounting to the public about matters that is of concern to them. Now, let me just say, as a public figure, it is the public's business to know how you acquire your wealth, given the fact that you have access to their resources at your disposal. And if you want to be above board and you want to ensure that you can show that there is nothing untoward being done, be prepared to be transparent. Now, when I spoke of hypocrisy pertaining to Kenson had an issue with his documents being shown on television. Kenson sits in the cabinet with a fellow minister who does it all the time. He showed documents about Dr. Gail Rigobert. He showed documents of mine, Leonard Spider-Montut, on television. And let's not forget, that is Kenson's mentor, according to him. That is his mentor. And he has no problem with his mentor doing it. But now that the shoe is on the other foot, he has a problem with it. So let me just say this. Kenson himself, when in opposition, vying to become the parliamentary representative, had issues about the fact that I was driving a Lexus and raised questions, in fact, made statements about it. I didn't make a fuss. What I did was that I indicated that I took a loan from the Teachers Credit Union and that anyone in the media or himself could go and verify. When Emma Hippolyte during the time that she was a candidate in Groseley, raised questions about my farm. I indicated that I had a loan with the St. Lucia Development Bank. I called the bank and asked them, in fact, authorized them to make public the information on my loan. Of course, they had an issue with that, but I did not have an issue with making the information public. So what Kenson can do is, if he is certain that the allegations that are being made, that the questions that are being asked, it should, rather than be offended by it, he can clarify it by simply explaining to the public how he came about acquiring his wealth, especially wealth that he has acquired in the last 3 years since he has become a public figure. And so, I am happy with the statement made by Rick Wayne, not just because it suits my purposes, but because that is the reality. You cannot have it both ways. You cannot want to be in public office and want to be so private that people know nothing about you. These are people that entrusted you with running their affairs. They must know something about you. Secondly, you cannot have an issue when in office, but when in opposition, it is fine. And when your colleague is doing it to others, you have no problem with it. So stop the hypocrisy, Kenson, and understand that by virtue of your position, people have a right to ask questions about you. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you so much for calling the broadcast. Just so there from the PRO of the opposition, UWP, and former MP for Groseley and former Transformation Minister, Mr. Leonard Spider Matut. Earlier I told you about possibly be hearing from a former government minister. Incidentally, that individual is Dr. Gail Rigobert. Remember, a few years ago, during the reign of the previous administration, questions were asked as to how she was able to acquire a villa or villas. And that, incidentally, that issue was discussed on a Newsmaker Live program on DBS television. And the material was gathered from that broadcast, or extracted from that broadcast, and a report was filed by a reporter at HTS television.
Education Minister Dr. Gail Rigobert has finally addressed questions on how she was able to acquire the 2 Zara villas at Cap Estate. On August 27th, Can I Help You talk show host Richard Frederick presented what he said is documentary evidence of the ownership of lands, parcels 593 and 594, through a company formed by the Minister. Director of Implementation in the Office of the Prime Minister, Nancy Charles, via social media, had previously denied claims of the Minister's ties to the villas. Citizens have been calling on the Education Minister to set the record straight on her alleged ownership of such prime real estate. Dr. Rigobert, who appeared on Newsmaker Live on Thursday, had this to say.
The impression has been given that you really cannot afford this. And it's on the basis that you have been in office in government from 2016 up until now. How would have accrued the financial resources to make those purchases? How do you define
I am
this?
employed by the government of St. Lucia and earn a monthly salary.
And it's on that basis that you're able to make the acquisition?
The financial institution would have done all of the necessary mathematics.
Dr. Rigobert has denied any wrongdoing in acquiring the properties.
What are you hoping that this will not convey? Have you done anything wrong that warrants you being, called, your reputation being called into disrepute and so on?
That is precisely the reason for the statement. I think not only me, but the other parties involved in this.
And that was an HTS reporter. My apologies, ended abruptly, but you heard there from the former education minister, former MP for Miku North, and who was being criticized and accused of all kinds of things with regard to the acquisition of 2 villas. This is the most monitored talk show in the world. We continue with your calls and your WhatsApp messages and, of course, your discussions in the chat room. Amanda.
Tim, a few comments from earlier. Someone says, we need a code of ethics of any elected official, UWP or SLP personal documents being leaked online and shared amongst others should be criminal. The same was done to Skinny and his family. How disasterful are we as a country? Tim, there is nothing wrong about owning properties, but accountability matters. Another comment reads, exactly, Rick. There should be a law against public officials using their office to gain access to personal information of individuals who disagree with them. Someone says, when I wanted to acquire my first assets, the bank wanted job security before giving me a loan. Even when I wanted to access a student loan, the bank wanted to know how I was going to pay it back. What and where is my source of income? Casimir has 1.5 years guaranteed in his present job. Does the math? Where's the fairness talking about young people my foot? Another comment, you heard Kenny Anthony said that the public has a right to ask questions. And guess what? When there are no answers to public or taxpayers' questions, the public or taxpayers has a right to speculate. Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
We have a WhatsApp message. Thanks to Spider for his contribution. As they say, as the saying goes, you can't play mass and be afraid of powder. And let's see there if we have another WhatsApp message to go through. Somebody says there via WhatsApp, if you think the government has issues, find out what applies at the head of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. Senior gazetted officers have no regard or respect for each other. You would think the acting commissioner is any better. Sad. As per all ministers and public officials, let the public know about their lives. Remember, they presented themselves to the voters, so no matter what party, they shouldn't have an issue. And another WhatsApp message to go through. Somebody says there, didn't Richard Frederick repeatedly say that both he and Stevenson King were offered $5 million bribes by Guy Joseph? Anyone has even Frederick on this? Don't understand that question. And let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. Okay, let's take a call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon to you. You are on the air.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to you, caller.
How conveniently it is for some people that when their name been called to come and try and defend it or accuse other people, call people hungry for power and so on. Was he not hungry for power when the other party was in power with all the allegations they came up with and cannot prove it? Richard Frederick on his show every Thursday night flashing documents about people and he say he have a file big so don't they criticize Richard Frederick if you're talking about justice goes for all, not for some. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you so much for calling. We have another call via WhatsApp. Let's see if we could put it on the air. Good afternoon to you. You're on the air. Hello.
Good afternoon, Tim. Good afternoon, Amanda. How are you doing, Tim?
I'm okay, caller. Good afternoon to you.
Caller.
Tim, honestly, these politicians in St. Lucia disgust me sometimes. Because these guys are around people's homes like sunflies. When you see elections is coming, they're at your mercy. They're ready to do anything for you. And as soon as those guys get into office, it's like they become God. Tim, something needs to change in this country. And I am one that I've been telling you many times, as much as I blame the politicians, Tim, I blame the public servants a lot. We have too many people, Tim, that are not working in the interest of the country, Tim, and they're at the helm of institutions. These very institutions that they take an oath to safeguard, Tim. When are we going to wake up and not be sold for $1? Because that is what is happening in this country, Tim. These people that are allowing these things to happen, Tim, they're supposed to be, if we had the right judicial system in place, most of them would be prosecuted, Tim. Because clearly we can see what is happening in this country, whether we're there or we're on the outside, Tim. We all can see it clearly. A few men are just keep getting wealthy, Tim, while the very same people that they claim to be, they're supposed to represent and protect their lives and the kids' lives. You see what's happening. They just keep giving them handout. Every time school open, you see what happening to them. These same parents cannot buy the school bags. They cannot do anything. Yet still, those guys can purchase properties that worth millions. How does that work, Tim? Where are these monies coming from? Does their salary align with the amount of properties or the wealth that they own, Tim? Tim, we need to be serious in this country if we want to go anywhere, And it's high time that we make a statement to these politicians, because they keep taking St. Lucians for fools. Because I heard the minister in question, which is Kenson. He said it, He said that basically he's blaming the other side because the allegation is leveled at him. He's saying that they're playing on the people that they think are fools. So he knows there are fools among us because they keep pushing our button and thinking that we're not going to retaliate. But Tim, we need to wake up. Billions of dollars have been spent in this country. Yet still, we have 170,000 people. And we have more poverty than most countries that spend less money on an annual basis. Per capita, when you look at the amount of money we're spending, we shouldn't have so many unemployment in this country. We shouldn't have so many people that are poor or fall below that poverty line, I should say. It is not right, Tim. It is definitely not right. Everything is a disaster in the country. Talking about disaster, which school, Tim, is closed in the city or in the north end of the island because of mold, Tim? Do you have any idea of that?
I read somewhere that is this Ira Simmons Secondary School. That's shock, yeah.
Yes. That's what I read as well. But Tim, why is those buildings having mold, Tim? Why is it schools, our kids cannot go to school because of mold, but here we are spending over $400 million on an 80-year-old structure? You see, where are we going, Tim? If we want to prepare for the future to avoid these things, Tim, we need to build for the future. We cannot continue with these guys playing politics, either side. It's high time this nonsense stop and the people wake up. So many institutions, Tim, are being closed because of what? The very same thing, mold. Have you ever heard anyone or any of those so-called professionals, which I believe they all are bought out? Because anytime you try to ask them a question, they deflect because they want to be politically correct. You're not a politician. You're supposed to look at your not talent, but I should say, what's the word? It's not coming to me now.
Your profession?
Your profession. Thank you, Tim. But not be politically correct. We're spending millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars, Tim, on something we know. And I don't want no one to come and tell me that I don't know. We know for a fact this is what's going to happen. Because these buildings, they're so old. And because of the concrete and the center blocks they're built with, center block is porous. Everybody knows that. You know when you get in the air condition running on the inside and you have heat penetrating on the outside. The building was already mold infested. Who's to tell you that this building is not going to get mold anymore? Yes, the building was treated for mold. However, these mold treatments, they last somewhere between 2 to 3 years. That's what it is, the lifespan of it. These professionals, instead of they telling us the truth, you know what? They align with the politicians. Tim, honestly, I wish one day, I know a lot of people will be sent to jail in this country, but we will come to realize how corrupt this country is. Because honestly, something needs to be done, Tim. Thank you very much.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for your contribution. This is the most monitored talk show in the world, and just like to remind you and inform you that this evening on Newsmaker Live on DBS Television, 8:30, we have a special guest, a medical doctor who wants or is thinking about contesting the island's next general election. And he will be my guest on this evening's Newsmaker Live on DBS Television from 8:30. And the broadcast is also simulcast on this radio station, Power 97.9 FM. Still to come, some more of your calls on your WhatsApp messages, and Amanda will be going through some of your comments in the chat room.
There is only one option when they arrive. Our services will make the dead look alive. With Bouteille and Beaufort accessibility. Remember, we have the only private cemetery. No one can match our prices from coffins to corsage. Personalized service you get when Lazarus take charge. Quality service, no package to make your wallet bleed. Lazarus is your true friend in your time of need.
Lucilex remote options are available to serve you every weekday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Call or send a WhatsApp message to 285-6796, 285-7859, 285-3593, 285-3329, or 285-8640. Or send an email to customersupport@lucilec.com for assistance. Lucilec encourages you to use the available options for doing business with us remotely.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Here's a fun fact. In just 29 seconds, you can say goodbye to paper bills forever. Seriously, in 29 seconds. That's less time than this ad. Head over to discoverflow.co or visit us in-store and update your contact information now. By October 1st, your bills will be digital, easy to access, secure, and hassle-free. So what are you waiting for? This ad still has 2 seconds left, and you could have already gone paperless.
You know that feeling when you have an uncontrollable desire for fried chicken? That's the KFC. A substance that stimulates your senses to identify the aroma of a secret recipe or an extra crispy crunch from any distance. It's invisible to the naked eye, but you can feel it traveling throughout your body, taking control. All so you can enjoy a juicy bite of KFC. Ignite your senses with KFC.
It's the Tile Thursday specials. The sale you've been waiting for is finally here, happening this Thursday at the Tile Gallery. Whether you're renovating your kitchen, bathroom, or updating your entire home, don't miss out on the chance to save big on high-quality tiles that will elevate any space. Mark your calendars for Tile Thursday specials, the last Thursday of every month. You can save up to 50% off on selected tiles. Located at M&C Home Depot in Sunville. Hurry in! These amazing deals are in-store only, and supplies are limited, so be sure to grab yours while you can. Remember, Tile Thursday only happens once a month, so don't miss out. Visit the Tile Gallery this Thursday. See in-store for details.
It is well known by all St. Lucian professional tradesmen and even homeowners that European-made tools are the best. Well, guess what? Europa Hardware is having a massive promotion on the Metabo brand of power tools. From impact drills to angle grinders, jigsaws to rotary hammers, sanders and hot air guns. All at unbeatable, jaw-dropping prices. Don't let your tools let you down. Come to Europa and stay standing with a proud in-the-hand tool from Metabo. Call us at 452-0763 or visit us in Massat Grosile. Europa, we service what we sell.
Take control of your health at La Clinique de Corps Diagnostic Center of Excellence located in Cocoville, Rodney Bay, Grosile. We offer state-of-the-art diagnostic services including our advanced full-body MRI scans. Did you know cancers affect millions but are curable when detected early? Our full-body MRI is radiation-free, painless, and highly accurate. It detects cancer early, spots hidden illnesses, and uses advanced technology to ensure you get the best care possible. At La Clinique du Corps, we prioritize your health and peace of mind. Our highly skilled team provides personalized care in a comfortable and welcoming environment. Protect your health and secure a healthier tomorrow with our comprehensive diagnostic solutions. Book your full body MRI today and take the first step towards a healthier future. Call us at 451-6559. Your health is our priority at La Clinique du Corps.
Get ready for the glitz and glamour of the Miss St. Lucia USA Independence Pageant. Join the Fabulous Five: Danielle Allen, Miss Castry South; Cheyenne Smith, Miss Mikud South; Tyler St. Rose, Miss Babodo; Ari Asa Liwa, Miss Castry Central; and Mikhail Williams, Miss Mikud North. Who will be crowned Miss St. Lucia USA Independence Pageant 2025 on Saturday, February 1st from 6 p.m. at the Medgar Evers College Founders Auditorium, 1650 Bedford Avenue, Brooklyn. Tickets $80 US, VIP $120 US, or call 631-275-0508. This event is sponsored by Power 97.9 FM, Four Roots Entertainment, and the Consulate General of St. Lucia, New York. A magical evening awaits. Miss St. Lucia USA Independence Pageant 2025.
This is the most monitored talk show in the world. It is called NewsSpin. It's on Power 97.9 FM. The broadcast is also on the NewsSpin Facebook page as well as the NewsSpin YouTube channel. And do not forget to subscribe. Press that subscribe button. Tim, update on the shooting death of Stefan Yudovic, the CPJ employee who was shot by bandits who held up their goods vehicle. Tim, the police have charged 2 male individuals for his death and they are remanded at the prison. However, we, the innocent citizens, need the photos of the criminals released into the public domain because they are enjoying too much anonymity among people, while the public is none the wiser, not to mention caught off guard by the attacks. We need the images circulating out there so we can be on the alert that these people are no good and they are a potential threat to humanity. So police press office, please show the faces of the criminals in your reports. Pato is online via WhatsApp. Good afternoon to you, sir. You are on the air.
Good afternoon, Tim. Good afternoon, Amanda.
Good afternoon, Cole.
Good afternoon to you, Pato.
Yes, okay. I just making a contribution there, but at the end of it, I will just upgrade my number again. I give it enough time, okay? So people who don't have pen and paper, they can look for a little piece of charcoal, whatsoever they have, they can write it. Tim, what I'm about to say is when I used to see, right now I'm blind, but when I had my eyesight, the sun would have light me throughout the day. The moon and the stars would have given me light throughout the night. All of this is gone, Tim. And I'm saying thank God for you and for NewsSpin that I can get another type of light, an inner light that lights on me, my mind, then I could continue in this life that I'm living. I don't know if you get that.
We're happy to be of service to you, sir.
Right. But you see what happened. Some people might say you are biased, you are this, you are that. But what I realized is that you are taking the darkness and you are bringing it into light. Now, people who rather darkness more than light is because their deeds are evil, their works, a negative things they do, so they don't want to be in the light. So they will get all sorts of problems with you and NewsSpin. That's why I'm saying again that NewsSpin and you controlling the program has become the inner light to me, that I can see clearly, I can think clearly in the spiritual realm. Okay? Now this time my English is finishing on me there. Let me put that in Creole. Moi pas un politicien. Gil qui était un politicien, et moi c'est tonton Gil. But les Gil c'est un pouvoir. Mwen tan moun pale, politisyen même ek les autres moun pale. Pour si peu temps y a fait là, ek y a ni kondo, y a ni this, y a ni that. Vous comprenez? Ek jodi ya, y a l'autre side sou li ya, yo ka trouvé sans problème pour si un moun mande en question. It is not right, it cannot be right, and it will never be right. What is good for the goose, it is good for the gander. You have to come out and give an account. Because when it was Gail, I'm talking about, I don't know if they did it to others, but I'm sure they did talk about Gail for that short space of time she had, how she can achieve all of these things that she has, okay? So I'm just leaving it as that. I'm just leaving it as that. I'm not going deeper into it. As I say, I'm not a politician. It's Gail that was the politician. Okay. Let me say my number. You can get me on WhatsApp on 518-7894. You can get me on WhatsApp. 518-7894. Straight calls, you can get me on the same 518-9828. 518-9828. That's correct, okay? And I'm saying this, team, before I leave. My greatest wish for this year, team, believe me, I wanted to say that ever since, is to see that one of these days we meet face to face. I cannot see you, but where we can sit side by side and I can touch your hands, I can feel you, my brother, you know, and in my exit leaving this earth, I can give a report when I meet Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, Daniel, you know, and those great men, and I can say to testify to them because they never meet you that I have sit and shake the hands of one of the greatest men that ever lived on the surface of this earth. And it is not lip service, it is from my heart. It will happen.
I am flattered, sir, and I will endeavor to make this possible as soon as possible. Okay?
It will possible. My time is not your time, and it is in the hands of the Most High. It will happen.
I will arrange it.
My brother,
Yes.
Amanda, have a blessed day. Love you, Tim.
Means a lot to me. Thank you so much, Pato. Here's hoping you'll have a great afternoon today.
Yes.
And rest assured, I'll continue to try to remain humble and polite and respectful. What is happening in the chat room, Amanda?
Tim, somebody says, kudos to the RSLPF on the arrest. Now let's get a speedy trial and a conviction in the courts. Another comment, is the DPP still alive? When was the last time we heard from his office? Someone says, I will never listen to any political activists that have been Flobo or Labour their entire life. A NewsSpinner says, we keep making excuses for the lack of performance by our various institutions. The system of government that we have here is not found only in St. Lucia. Those very systems are what exists in other democratic societies, and they work quite well because everyone is held to account for their position that they hold. In St. Lucia, that is not the case. Anyone who has some level of authority or power is not required to account. Another comment, looks like Pastor Harris and Macaulay went on a cruise in the Panama Canal. Someone says, Tim, I rarely comment, but for some reason I feel the need to do so. We are the ones who can put a stop to this. My question is, why do we allow it to continue? This really reminds me of the words of our NewsSpin poet, it is us. We are the ones who allow this madness to continue. Another comment, someone says, all this back and forth proves and supports the claim that we are overdue for a code of ethics and an integrity commission that won't be compromised. This issue goes beyond political affiliations. This has a negative connotation, and the entire world is watching.
We have a call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Good afternoon, Tim.
Yes, good afternoon to you, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon to St. Lucia. I must say this is my first time calling your program for the year, Tim. And I am telling your team, may the year bring success for all of us. May you see the light, Tim, and all of us around the world, Tim, that listening to NewsSpin and those that listen to the other programs. May St. Lucia be blessed, Tim, with all the love St. Lucians have. Let's point together and wish the best for St. Lucia. Have a good afternoon, Tim.
Thank you so much, and all the best to you as well, sir. Some of your calls, once again, 452-2979, 452-2979, your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Another call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon to you. You are on the air. Hello.
Good afternoon, Mr. Poleon.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
And Happy New Year to you and to Miss Amanda.
Same to you.
Thank you, caller.
Wishing you and the NewsSpin community the very best for 2025. But I wanted to call to challenge us as a people. I keep listening to the program and to other programs, and I wanted to challenge us as a people to focus on policy instead of all the other things that we tend to focus on. Mépris and invented scandals do not run a country. Policy does. If St. Lucia is to go forward now and in the future, we must of necessity elevate the political discourse. Politicians and other thought shapers in St. Lucia spend an inordinate amount of time majoring in minors, and yet the things that really matter to St. Lucia and to St. Lucians are swept under the rug of indifference. What is the economic policy of St. Lucia? What is our healthcare policy? What is our crime prevention policy or our education policy? We do not know, because politicians realize that they do not have to discuss these important things. All they have to do is to feed us with a politically malnutrition diet, and we give them the impression that we are good and all is well. And they keep on doing it year in and year out, and all the while, St. Lucia is not going anywhere. We are stuck in the 20th century, 25 years into the 21st century. Last week was Laureate Week, and I heard Mr. Wayne say that someone asked him, what has Sir Derek Walcott done for St. Lucia? This is such a sad and pathetic question. It breaks the heart and it aches the soul. We trash good things because we are not at the level to appreciate them. That is what we allowed politicians to do to us. But the time has come for this to change. The time has come for us to be enlightened and be a politically savvy people who can process the issues and are challenging us as a nation, and begin the hard work of addressing them, and to also begin a new process of thinking of country before political party. Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you so much for calling. Amanda, do we have any more comments in the chat room to go through?
Just a few. Someone says, I have to agree with this caller. The politicians aren't to be blamed, nor are the civil servants. It's the citizens. Imagine someone tirelessly advocating for human and civil rights as a private citizen, fighting for the people and being applauded for it. But the moment they choose to use their skills, network, and abilities to make a real difference through parliament, those same people turn against them. Instead of supporting someone who has proven their dedication, they choose to uplift known shady characters. It's disheartening. It speaks volumes about our integrity or lack of thereof.
We have a call via WhatsApp. Let's see if we can put this call on the air. Good afternoon. Okay, let's try again. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. Ready for your contribution, caller?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
Yeah, Amanda, good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon, caller.
Do you realize that we are at the end of January 2025?
Mm-hmm.
And we yet to receive the crime statistics for 2024?
Well, they have not held a press conference on this particular matter yet. No.
You remember in 2023, it was announced 2 months before the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And after it was announced, they had 3 additional homicides after it was announced.
Yeah.
So you don't think this time precaution is better than cure, or is it just negligence?
I don't know. I can't answer for the police.
No, what would prompt me to say that thing? You read out something a while ago about the guy who was the CPJ guy.
Yes, somebody, a source provided me with an update, yes.
Okay. So don't you think that would be a plus in the police force further, in the cap, to announce that there have been a successful resolution to that homicide?
I wouldn't say a successful resolution, but 2 people have been charged with that homicide.
Yeah, but
it's not a resolution yet because it has to go before the courts.
That's to the court.
Yeah.
That's to the court. But it shows that
they have recorded some level of success.
That's it.
Yeah.
It doesn't solve murder rate.
Mm-hmm.
No?
Yes.
I think so. But we're not hearing anything. right? We're not hearing anything. I will give them the pass for now because the Commissioner of Police is on vacation leave. But I think that comes to the stakes for the year 2024 because there have been contradictory statements of the 77 homicides, known homicides, and others are saying that there have been more. The truth is. Okay? Hello?
Yes, caller, I'm listening.
Yes, I'm saying that we need to know the truth. How many homicides we've had for the year 24, you know? And then we'll move on. Okay, then?
Okay, caller.
All right.
All right. Okay, you too. Thank you so much for your contribution. We have a call on the landline. Good afternoon to you. NewsSpin, you're on the air.
Timothy, a pleasant good afternoon to you and your listeners all over the world. PW on the line, Timothy. Timothy, in this country, if you want to become wealthy, become a politician. This is what it is. I am saying to you, Timothy, that when you have a politician that has his account at the bank and these huge, gigantic check comes in on a regular basis, do we have anybody at the banks in a position to question these checks, Timothy?
I mean, that's for the bank to make a determination call. And normally the banks, I'm sure they'll be taking a lot of things into consideration whenever you make a deposit or whether you make a withdrawal, how frequent you conduct those transactions and so on.
Some of these checks has to be questionable, Timothy. When they come in on a regular basis, and I hear everybody calling Timothy, we got to cut the chase, Timothy. We got to cut the chase. Because I know exactly, we all know exactly how money is being made as a politician. We all know. You know, I can give many analogies, Timothy. I can tell you, you understand, how monies are being made by politicians. We all know that. Take, for example, I'm the minister of coconut trees, Timothy. Let's use that as an example. I am the minister of coconut affairs, Timothy. Let us say this. You know for sure that money is being made by a minister giving a direct contract to one of his hacks. His hacks is being paid, and we all know who gets the percentage out of that money that is being paid to that contractor.
We don't know that. We don't know that, but we hear those things happening, sir.
You hear these things happening, Timothy? So you're telling me now that government ministers doesn't cash in on contracts? You're telling the people of St. Lucia that? This is actually what happens. This is why the ministers acquire wealth. This is why they acquire wealth. There's no other reason for acquiring wealth is to have people contracts approved and to get a certain percentage out of the contracts. There is no other way and means to make money as a government minister. Let us cut the crap and go directly to the source. The police need to investigate, people that are involved in corruption. This government doesn't have the gonads, it doesn't have the will to allow the police to investigate members of their own party, members of the opposition. So guess what? We are spinning top in mud. This is the only two ways to get money, to get wealthy as a minister. We all know that. The government ministers all know that. The police knows that. St. Lucian people know that. So you know what happened? We have to do something about that. By voting in people with integrity and people that will not bankrupt the government coffers and to empty it out so that we don't have money for healthcare, we don't have money for security now because of the milking of the government coffers. Timothy, I thank you.
Thank you so much. We have a WhatsApp message that reads, politics in St. Lucia is becoming more and more combative, nasty, and very unattractive. At the rate things are going, very soon well-intentioned, talented men and women who can make a contribution will avoid politics. Soon we won't be able to find good citizens to govern the affairs of the land. We have our NewsSpin news of the day, which reads, Vatican says AI has a shadow of evil and calls for close oversight. Vatican says AI has a shadow of evil, calls for close oversight. And our question of the day, how should Minister Kenson Casimir react to concerns over recent real estate acquisitions? Once again, our question of the day, how should Minister Kenson Casimir react to concerns over recent real estate acquisitions? That's the broadcast. Thank you so much for watching and listening to another edition of the world's most monitored talk show. Join me this evening, 7 o'clock in the first instance, for the DBS News World and 8:30 Newsmaker Live. A medical doctor, apparently, he wants to contest the next general election, and he will be my guest on Newsmaker Live on DBS Television at 8:30, and it is also simulcast on Power 97.9 FM. Goodbye.